You ever drive through an American suburb and wonder, wait, wasn't I just here? Like, you turn left, identical beige house. Turn right, identical beige house. And suddenly you realize you're not lost. You're trapped in a real-life copy-paste nightmare. But here's the twist. This isn't laziness or coincidence. No. The reason every suburb looks the same is far more engineered and, honestly, kind of brilliant. Because this perfect pattern of lawns, cul-de-sacs, and two-car garages was built on fear, control, and the most powerful drug of all, the American dream. So, let's unpack why the suburbs all look the same, and why that's exactly how they were meant to look. The great suburban copy-paste and who pressed Ctrl+C. Alright, story time. It's the late 1940s. World War II just ended. Millions of soldiers are coming home. And the US government suddenly has a big problem. Where do we put all these humans? Enter Levittown, one of the first mass-produced suburbs, literally built like an assembly line. Houses rolled out faster than McDonald's burgers. Identical blueprints, identical streets, identical dreams. Levittown was a hit, and soon, developers across the country thought, why reinvent the wheel when we can just clone it? But this wasn't just convenience, it was strategy, because sameness sells. Standardization made homes cheaper, easier to insure, and faster to approve. And behind that perfect sameness, a brand new invention that quietly shaped everything. The 30-year mortgage. How money made everything beige? See, banks hate uncertainty. They want predictability, uniformity, cookie-cutter safety. So when suburbs started booming, banks said, we'll give loans, but only for neighborhoods that look safe. Translation: no funky architecture, no mixed races, no surprises. That's how zoning laws were born, dressed up as community planning. In reality, they were control systems to maintain order and property value. Developers soon realized the more identical the houses, the less risk for lenders. So uniformity became not just an aesthetic, it became an economic policy. That's why your neighbor's house looks just like yours. Not because of taste, but because Wall Street once said, yeah, that's less risky. The hidden hand of fear. Now, let's talk about the part they never teach you in school, fear. Post-war America was terrified of communism, of integration, of urban decay. Suburbia became a psychological bunker. White picket fences weren't just fences, they were emotional borders. Zoning laws quietly kept people sorted. Certain neighborhoods were literally redlined to keep minorities and undesirable elements out. That's why the phrase good schools became code for racially homogeneous. Uniformity, then, wasn't just about architecture, it was about control. If every house looked the same, maybe everyone inside could too. It's like America's version of cloning culture, conformity sold as comfort. The myth of choice. Let's bust a myth. People love saying, I chose to live in the suburbs. But did you really? Because when developers, banks, and zoning boards all limit what can exist, what's left for you to choose? That's not freedom. That's a menu of illusions. You think you picked your home, but your choice was designed decades before you were born. It's like walking into an ice cream shop with 31 flavors. But they're all just different shades of vanilla. Cars, the unspoken boss of suburbia. Here's the thing, suburbs weren't designed for people. They were designed for cars. Every cul-de-sac, every parking space, every strip mall all revolve around car culture. You can't walk anywhere because these places weren't meant for feet. They're meant for engines and exhaust pipes. In fact, some city planners literally called this automobile-oriented development, which is a fancy way of saying we built entire communities for machines first, humans second. So next time you're stuck in traffic on your way to a big box store that looks just like the one 5 miles away, remember, this sameness isn't accidental. It's automotive architecture. The corporate design takeover. Fast forward to today. Now we've got mega developers like Lena, D.R. Horton, and Toll Brothers mass-producing homes like IKEA furniture sets. They've perfected the algorithm of sameness. Want to see something wild? Try Googling New Homes USA and scroll through the images. Every photo looks like it was taken in the same place, same color palette, same fake shutters, same modern farmhouse nonsense. Developers discovered the suburban aesthetic isn't just profitable, it's market-tested serenity. Beige sells, predictability sells, and and no one complains because it's comfortable. The psychological trick of sameness: humans are wired for familiarity. The same reason people rewatch The Office 50 times is the same reason they move to suburbs that look cloned. Sameness equals safety. Predictability equals peace. But here's the cost. When everything looks the same, innovation dies, culture stagnates, and we forget what creativity even looks like. Suburbs were meant to be utopias, but they accidentally became laboratories of learned mediocrity. So, what now? Suburbs aren't evil. They gave millions of families stability, space, and safety. But now, the world is changing. Climate, economy, community, and suburbia feels frozen in time. Maybe it's time to rethink what the American dream actually looks like. Because if everyone's dream looks identical, maybe it's not a dream anymore. Maybe it's just another template. Breaking the template, so next time you drive through a suburb and think, "Didn't I see this exact house 5 miles ago?" Just remember, you did. Because America, my friend, is built on copy-paste optimism and sold as freedom, one beige box at a time. If you liked this deep dive, hit that subscribe button, because here at Unpacking America, we don't just roast houses. We unpack the history behind why they all look the damn same.